Whoopi Goldberg really does seem a bit desperate here. I mean, for her to say what she said on today's show, all I can think of is they've really gotten to her. Like, they're taking her aside and they're like, Whoopi, Donald Trump really doesn't believe you should be on the air. And by the way, I'd be with Donald Trump on that because she's been wildly irresponsible, along with Rachel Maddow and a few others. Joy Reid, I'm looking at you. Anyway, Joy Behar, too, over there on The View, wildly irresponsible. And yet, you know, she still has a job. Like, that show is still on the air. And you say to yourself, how can that be? And I think it's a fair question to ask in light of the FCC being the one to give the ABC license to all the local affiliates all over the country. And I think that that's actually, now that Donald Trump is in the White House, very much in jeopardy. Now that Brendan Carr is head of the FCC, very much in jeopardy. And even when you consider little things around the edges, like the fact that Elon Musk is so close to Donald Trump, and Elon Musk really has no use for one Bob Iger. That would be the CEO of Disney. That would be the company that owns ABC News. You know, Iger has already said he wants to sell ABC News. Apparently nobody wants to buy it because he hasn't found a buyer yet. Because these numbers don't work, right? We've been through that before. That is the media that is dead. This is the media that is alive and well and continuing to thrive and will grow. I mean, you saw the news just yesterday. My gosh, the White House is opening up the press briefings to all those podcasters, streamers, and influencers out there, people who had previously been shunned by the likes of the mainstream media. Well, Whoopi Goldberg, on her last go-around here, it really is. I mean, I don't know how she's going to keep this job. She's suddenly trying to sound a very different tune. This is all, you know, as ICE is rounding up criminals, rounding up migrants, sending planes of them back to Colombia, to Mexico, etc. And here's Whoopi. Is she actually agreeing with President Trump? That's how bad it must be for Whoopi Goldberg. Money's on the line here, and apparently money talks.
But 87% support deporting criminal undocumented migrants.
Yes, I don't know anybody in the world. Yeah, I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know anybody.
That's where we should be focused.
Can I say something?
Woo! Okay, should we play that again? I'll just quote it for you. I know you don't really want to watch her. She said, I don't know anyone in the world that doesn't want to deport the criminals. Goodness gracious, Whoopi Goldberg. That certainly sounds like a different Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, it's like we got schizophrenia or something. Who's on TV today over there on The View? This Whoopi Goldberg is very different, but this is the Whoopi Goldberg that is the pragmatic, business woman, I guess, who recognizes that she needs a paycheck every Friday because they're threatening to get rid of ABC. In fact, Brendan Carr has reinstated all of these lawsuits, all of these complaints, I should say. And don't forget, Donald Trump has some lawsuits. He's got lots of lawsuits. He just settled one with ABC News to the tune of some $16 million. And what just crossed right before I came to air? Forgive the delay, this little number. What do you know? Here, let's see if we can get that on the screen straight. Breaking news, Donald Trump signing an agreement that would require Meta, that is Facebook, to pay $25 million to settle a lawsuit. The president sued in 2021 after his accounts were suspended. This is a big deal. You know, I think shareholders are going to go, phew, because, you know, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this president necessarily, and how could he not, Mark Zuckerberg, be on the wrong side of the president, given what went down? I'm wondering if I should sue, because there was like an entire year where I was not allowed access to my audience because I dared to share a story on one Joe Biden. Seriously, how crazy is that? Think about that, guys. I mean, they were just brutal. It's why I'm happy to be over here. I'm happy that all of you are subscribed. Make sure you subscribe. Do me that favor. It's actually really important so you know when I'm here. Hit the bell, all that good stuff. But basically, Meta has agreed to pay roughly $25 million to settle this 21 lawsuit from President Trump that he brought against the CEO and against the social media platform after they suspended his account. Now, of that, $22 million will go to fund Trump's presidential library, with the rest going to legal fees and to other plaintiffs who signed on to the case. Meta will not admit any wrongdoing, interestingly, in this. Trump signed the settlement agreement Wednesday in the Oval Office, and according to the Wall Street Journal, Meta has no comment. I mean, think of what they did. Think of how crazy that was. I mean, thank goodness Elon came out and bought Twitter. We might really be up a creek without a paddle. Free speech matters, does it not? I will say, credit to the folks over here at YouTube. Again, a reminder, please subscribe and share and like and all that good stuff. Hit the bell. They have been absolutely wonderful. Look at what we're doing. I mean, maybe we should have more in terms of audience. You know, I always want more, but we're like 550,000. And that's from me probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, saying, okay, we're going to start doing this show every single day live. Maybe it was a year and a half ago. And so I'm just so blown away by the success we've had. But what's amazing to me is that they got away with doing that. They got away with doing that for so long, and that's what we have to prevent in the future. We need to make sure that there is freedom of the press there. So Whoopi Goldberg, okay, you can say whatever you want. I don't think you have to say what the Trump administration wants you to say, but what I would say is you need to be responsible. Responsibility in this business actually really does matter. You cannot be so careless. I mean, think of how responsible, frankly, some of us streamers have been. Over here in independent Mediaville, we've been very responsible. Often that's what gets us in trouble, being so responsible, because there's a narrative that you're supposed to spout, a narrative that they want. For example, the narrative of the 51X spooks that say, nope. You're not allowed to talk about the Hunter Biden laptop. You're not allowed to talk about that virus having come from Wuhan, China. Now, what do you know? The CIA just admitted it. You got John Radcliffe running the show over there. So things are coming out. But if it weren't for some of us that were willing to take those risks, and, you know, look, I'm sort of a poster child for that, because I used to have a nice little, I guess you could call it plum gig. I worked really hard. I wrote the show entirely myself. I did have some very good producers, but over at Fox. And look, the reality is I think we overreacted in 2020. And I went right on the air in real time and said it. Nobody else was willing to do that. I was, and I'll continue doing that, because this is what's right. And we need more people that are willing to take those risks. I get it. You know, maybe I'm a little luckier. I can take some of these risks, but you need to foster and create an environment where people are willing to say the truth and seek the truth. And we just haven't had that. Instead, you've got these idiots on The View that are still actually amazingly in business, although perhaps not for long. I really do think that Whoopi Goldberg is now having this sort of moment where she's meeting with producers regularly, and they're like, hey, let's let Sunny go there. Let's let Joy go there. Let's let anybody but you, because for some reason you, lady, are the lightning rod.